It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Steve.
Is having a floor in your car a, quote, modification?
Potato.
No. So the potato's having a floor, the potato's not having a floor?
Sure. Tomato.
No. It's never been called tomato. It's never been called potato. Unless you're illiterate.
Kyle.
Quadratech made, Quadraman, who was one of Superman's early nemesis. Nemesis? Bear with me. Quadratech made Quadraman, who we can all agree is one of Superman's nemesis. But that you just said that's the plural.
Live on tape from APS 3 point whatever, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Yes, it is. The incomparable Melissa Vaughn, thank you very much for the intro. You all right over there? You're looking a little pale. Whew. Rough one? Couldn't be that. You were, before you got here, you were out getting family photos taken.
Yeah.
Out in the sunshine. It's a beautiful day here in West Michigan. You all right?
Just hope those photos don't reflect the internal feeling.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. You have a rough night last night? Well, wait a minute. Did you have a adult beverage?
Couple soda pops.
Did you imbibe a bit too much? Huh?
Oh, drinky, tipsy.
Hey! Oh, Bobcat's here.
Listen, Bobcat drinks. That's rude to put in the poll, so I'm not going to put that on the poll. Does Bobcat drink? Because Bobcat might be an alcoholic or a recovering alcoholic.
He could be.
And that's that is too far.
That we have found the line. 5 years and 1 day into this podcast.
Happy anniversary!
Oh,
man.
Happy anniversary! Can't be said enough. Thank you very much.
5 years ago yesterday that you and I and Annette and my wife Katie decided to spend a little time at your house and have a fire.
So strangely enough, it is probably today is the 5-year anniversary from another very terrible hangover.
Yeah.
Because
oh my God.
That was rough. The day after the lost episode, as we've called it.
So, well, actually, now I don't want to nitpick too much. Mm-hmm. We recorded that so late. Was it on the 12th? Because we recorded that at no joke. It was like 2 a.m.
It was. Well, I know that yesterday I had a Facebook memory. Let me pull it up.
And maybe that was. Yeah. You probably posted that the day that you woke up. So it would have been that day.
I guess I don't know. It's unclear to me.
I think it was the 11th. I'm almost positive it was the 11th now that we talk about it. But yeah, maybe there was some subconscious at work last night, Steve, because maybe I was internally celebrating our 5-year anniversary.
Could have been, yeah. Were you sitting around a fire?
No
fire.
Way too hot for that. Way too hot.
Yeah, it is a bit.
No,
although we did 5 years ago. We were sitting around a bonfire in the backyard at Annette's old house.
Yes, we were. And
you had just come back from space.
Yeah. Listen, of all the Apollos that how many actually made it?
A handful of them or so.
So
you got 13. 13 barely made it.
Yeah, 13 was touch and go, right?
Yeah.
And
made a whole movie about it.
11 made it, right?
I believe they all made it.
Weren't there some that were like, hey, they're intended to go to the moon, but like if anything goes awry, they have to they have to
shoot
abandon
themselves into the sun.
That's it. You just turn on the after boosters or the thrusters.
To cut the wheel 180 degrees and
towards the sun. A damn shame that piece of styrofoam fell off, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, hit the rockets. We're headed to the sun.
There's a lot, believe it or not, that I don't know about space travel.
Sure.
This is one of them.
I think we're on to something there. And I'll put that on the poll as well. If a space mission fails, do they, shoot themselves?
Jettison into the sun. I think you have to use the word jettison.
No question.
So it shows that we know just a touch
yeah.
about space travel. By the way, it is Saturday, June 12th, 2021, the year of our Lord, the Steve and Kyle podcast. Again, a 5-year anniversary of recording the first episode, which we refer to as the lost episode of this podcast, which was never released in its entirety.
Yeah.
And then I believe it was a couple of weeks later. I think it was in July when we finally sat down and said,
yeah,
let's do an actual one.
A little bit of a delay in between lost episode and actual episode one.
Yeah.
So
recorded, if I remember, probably about 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, 6 of them. Then we're off for like
6
weeks.
2 months.
And then we did not miss single
yeah,
one until...
Once we hit September of 17.
Yeah.
Was
16.
it 16, yeah. September of 16. We didn't miss one until 6 months ago.
Yeah, when I had the boo-boo.
Somebody had a skinned knee.
Boy, I have such fond memories of that time. Like, I
do you?
If I wasn't so self-loathing about the way I sound... Personally, I would go back and I'd like to listen to those.
You're gonna do a full listen?
God, no. I would go listen to some of those early ones just to hear if we had like a pep. You know, was there like
bet we did.
That childlike wonder when we were going there every week?
I know that we didn't have it in the lost episode.
No, because we
were both doing our Springsteen impressions.
Yeah, we were super late and we were super drunk and it was
yeah.
We're going to talk about stuff but not talk about... And we probably left there and thought that we nailed it. We nailed it. And lest you think we're even joking or exaggerating, we legitimately haven't released the whole thing for that reason. It's very bad.
We didn't nail it.
It would need some editing, I believe. There's some stuff in there that we probably wouldn't even want released.
Oh, I know of one line in particular, strangely enough, that had to do with... your trip to space as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that got... Yeah, so we played it safe.
Yeah.
Which I think in our history was probably a wise decision to do that.
There are many things that I just don't want to deal with.
Yeah, that's one of them.
That is out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
It is not something I need to revisit because I'm in a good place right now.
Sure.
Good place mentally.
Yeah.
Good place physically.
Right.
I don't need any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's something that it's good that it's tucked away. Now I have it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We have the audio.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at the file right now.
And it's never going anywhere. It's never going anywhere in its entirety. Ever. I can say that. I'll comfortably say that unless you and I have
$5 million donation.
That's right. Unless you and I have an absurd falling out where we decide this would be the best course of action.
Right, to bastardize the audio.
Yeah.
To cut it all up and release just the bad thing. Like, I just released the bad things you say.
Right.
You just released the bad things.
Yeah, so then I get mad, and then I go back and cut it, and then release.
Right, yeah.
So it's just this weird war of words from, honestly, 5+ years ago now that nobody cares about.
Yes.
So yeah,
it was
5
years, man.
Celebrated last night.
Just look at what has happened in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
so you've
lived in 3 houses.
No, just 2.
Just 2. Yeah.
Just 2. Yeah. You know, it's funny because you always talk about how many times I've moved, and the other day, for whatever reason, I was thinking about it. I've lived in like one more place than you. Like since if we go back,
you've been here,
we go back to when you and I met in 2010. So in 2010, you were living at home.
Yep.
I was living in an apartment.
Yep.
All right, so we're even.
Mm-hmm.
2011, I bought my house.
Yep.
Moved into a house.
2000. For me, we moved into our apartment in 2013.
All right, so we're even, 2 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I then moved in with Annette, so I'm up 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
You and Katie bought a house.
Yep. 2015.
So we're 3-3.
Yeah.
And then we had the audacity to move out of her house. So we're up 4-3.
I'm putting it on the poll right now. Is Steve a globetrotter?
I've lived all over this 3-town area.
In your life, I mean, granted, this is probably...
Oh, God, if I look back at the amount of actual residences I've lived in. Now... You're not including, like, dorms or anything, right?
No, that doesn't count.
What about when I did the semester in London?
I would count that as one.
Okay, because
one as a whole.
All right.
How many places did you live in one semester over there?
Just one.
Okay, I didn't know if you meant like you moved to a couple places.
No, it's just one dorm for 3 months. But then I also did a semester in Spain. There's another one.
Oh, I didn't know about that one. Wow.
All right, so I'm trying to think here. Got the house I grew up in. The only other place I lived in, the dorms at Monmouth, but that doesn't count. Then moved in to... All right, I lived in that basement closet in a frat house for a little while. That wasn't great.
Could you give, like, if you had to, I know it's on the fly and it's totally unfair. Would you be able to give like your bottom 3 places that you've lived in your life?
Yeah, easily.
I
mean, number 1 was the one I just mentioned. I literally lived in a large closet in a basement in a fraternity house. And I was not in the fraternity. This was something, I was taking a summer course at Monmouth, and I needed to be in that area every day. So there was a guy we had a bunch of classes together, this guy Frank, and not the Frank that you know.
Yeah, not Potty Mouth Frank.
Not Potty Mouth Frank. No, this is this guy Frank, he was in a fraternity, and he's like, "Hey man, we have this room."
I didn't know if he advertised it to you as a closet or
it was a room.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got this room that I only needed it for like a month of the summer.
Sure.
And I was like, "Yeah, man, that would be great." He's like, "Yeah, just give us like a couple $100 or whatever." Perfect. So I didn't even look at it before my big move-in day. And then I got there and I realized, wow, all the stuff I brought, most of this isn't going to fit in here.
Yeah, so like your bed that was, full size, so not a queen.
I used a twin. I had a twin.
Okay.
I had to downgrade to a twin.
Oh.
And the room was as long as the bed. And then next to the bed, there was enough room to like swing my legs out of bed and put them on the floor.
Now it's going back, because you said this was college.
This would have been 2002, I think. I think it was junior leading into senior year.
Do you remember what you paid Frat Guy Frank for this oversized closet?
Like I said, maybe a couple $100, but I ended up only living there for, I think, about 2 weeks, because there was one night where I was asleep. Now, again, this was in the basement.
Yeah.
So my door is shut. It is pitch black. There's no windows. No windows in a basement. And I kept hearing this like beeping noise. I'm like, what the hell is that? And it was the carbon monoxide detector going off. So I woke up to a fireman standing in my doorway, like with his mask on, saying,
wow.
"Get out." So, the fireman found it. Here's a real shocker. That wasn't a legal bedroom. So I was told, I guess the landlord found out, so I had to skedaddle out of there.
So you were out a couple $100.
Yeah, I think so.
For 2 weeks in a closet. But
now, I remember Frank was a good dude. So I don't remember, but I would assume that he gave me money back.
Okay. And so that was on campus. I was at a frat house. Yeah,
it was right. Yeah, it was like 2 blocks off campus. So it couldn't have been more convenient.
Is that
but
number one?
I had no cell phone reception in the basement.
Oh yeah, you're in a dungeon.
And it was pretty much understood that I sleep there. I don't
live there.
Interact. I don't. Oh. Yeah, but I mean, look, I was desperate. I needed a place to stay.
Man,
so I just
that's the worst. That's number one, the worst
by far.
Wow.
By far.
What's the drop off now if you had to think about what the second worst place is? Because, and I'm guessing a lot of these are going to be a similar time frame, right? Because in college, you're moving around, you're doing what you have to do to get by.
You live in crappy houses.
Yeah, and you're willing to do what you need to do. You're willing to accept more garbage just to live.
At that time, too, when you're 20, 21 years old, you don't realize how crappy the places are that you live in because you just don't care. Like, ooh, the foundation is crumbling. Whatever. Not my problem. Not my house.
You start picking at it as like a nervous tick because you don't care.
It's funny, too, because the place that I lived in my senior year with 6 other guys.
This is underwear wrestling.
No, that was I didn't live in that house. I didn't live in the underwear wrestling house.
You were just visiting. Yeah. That's right.
The place that but same people. So, the Frank you do know. Ray. Howie. Darren. Other Steve, who was Big Steve. And who else was in that house? Mark. I feel like there was one more person.
Boy, I feel like I'm casting a sitcom with these names. Like,
oh, and me. Yeah, there were 7 of us total.
So I feel like Mark's the dad figure, like trying to keep it. Howie's like the slob guy who backward hat, and he's like, in the introductory credits of this sitcom, he's eating a hot dog and the hot dog squirting out the back
or
of
like
the
a
bun.
meatball sub and a meatball bounces down his shirt.
No question.
So we lived in this place in Belmar, New Jersey, our senior year of college, just blocks from the legendary E Street.
Oh wow! Did you go get your picture taken in front of the street
sign? Of course, yeah. You stand in front of the sign. Man, so we lived in this house. It was it was probably originally a 3-bedroom house, which a slumlord had bought and just taken any large space and put walls in the middle to make more bedrooms. So we had a living room that was about 8 feet by 6 feet, like big enough for a couch. And that place was a dump, a complete dump. So I would say that's probably number 2, even though I loved living there.
You were just there for a year?
It was yeah. So from late August till...
Was it a bad area? Was the area okay?
No, good area.
Okay.
Like 5 blocks from the beach.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
were there other slumlord homes nearby?
Sure, yeah. A lot of the places in that area, because most of them are seasonal rentals.
Okay, because it's so close to the beach.
So, yeah, like that house that I think I paid like $400 or $500 a month to live there. And if I wanted to live there over the summer, my rent would have been like triple, and there would have been 12 people in the house.
$400 or $500 per person there at that time. That's still a lot of money.
Maybe I'm overshooting that. Maybe it was like 300.
But even still, that's a good chunk of change for that time.
Yeah,
especially.
That was 02, 03.
Wow.
But yeah, that house. So we couldn't get in before Labor Day, and we had to be out like a week before Memorial Day.
Sure,
because that's when
they charge
summer
the big bucks.
summer season started. And this guy Ron, he was our landlord, and anytime hey Ron, the heater's broken again, or the heat's not working again. All right, well, I'll see what I can do. And like 3 weeks later, the heat would be back on. God. I mean, the place was like, it was just Swiss cheese with a door. There was no insulation whatsoever. But I loved it. I look back on it, with that like romantic feeling, because it was a time in my life where I was like, didn't really have many responsibilities.
Yeah.
Just hang out.
Dreaming jet skis.
Yeah. Yeah. That was pre-jet ski. Oh yeah, I was truly dreaming about the jet ski then.
Talking Springsteen. Uh-huh. Pilgrimages to E Street.
Yep.
Man,
I loved that area, because there were, so many just bars that we could walk to that were within 2 or 3 blocks. I love that area so much.
I bet if you went back and visited today, you would be to that place.
Yeah.
To that home. I bet you'd be disgusted that you lived there.
Oh, I looked it up on Google Street View like within the last 6 months probably, and you can tell that it is still a college rental, because there's like a couch on the front porch, and it just looks it like time forgot this place.
And the way things are, I'll bet you that's a college rental for an insane amount of money that compared to what I can't
even imagine.
That close to the beach.
Yep.
Even in the off season, I bet that's still
somebody's probably living right there. I bet that there are 6 to 7 guys living in that house right now.
Yeah.
Paying at least $1,000 a month.
Oh, can you imagine? Hand over fist.
Yeah.
That's what you got to get into. You don't buy or build your own tiny home.
Trust me, this is something that I've seriously considered for a long time.
You kind of did it. You have a little experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I rented. When I moved in with Annette, I rented my house for 2 years.
Yeah. Would you don't have any overarching or bad feelings about the people who lived there? Were great.
Yeah, they were. I had 0 problems with them whatsoever.
But did it ever become like hey, this is wrong, where you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to go back there again?
No, most of that happened. Like, I had to put a new roof on the place.
Yeah.
Like, after I moved out and before they moved in. So I didn't even get to appreciate or enjoy my own $6,000 new roof. No, luckily there were not any major issues. But I was talking to a friend of mine who's a realtor earlier this week about this exact thing, and he's like, "You need to get into owning property." And I'm like, "Well, yeah. I mean, it's sure okay. What do I do?"
Yeah, exactly. That's the
I
thing,
just have to outbid 1,000 people and have $50,000 more than the asking price.
Yeah, and it is a bit different having people live in the place you're renting that are a nice. It was a couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's different having a building, with like 10 separate people living there.
Yeah, my tenants were in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
I think maybe engaged at that point, or they got engaged like right after they moved in. So I knew that it wasn't like so and so's moving out this month, but we got Gordo to replace them.
And you don't know if you have a building full of that many people, how many of those are going to be bad eggs.
Yeah.
And I don't mean bad eggs in terms of wanting a lot. If something's wrong, something's wrong. That's
right.
Right. I mean bad eggs in terms of other people are complaining about them. They're, smashing the wall. They're doing this and that. Man, that it feels like such a headache that the time investment for you would have to be through the roof.
To do that on a professional level,
even if you thought about, hey, as a side hustle, right?
Own 2 proproperties.
I don't know that you'd have the time for that.
Well, Annette and I have talked about this at great length, mainly because the people that I work with, like the 2 main hosts on the radio show, are both like 8 or 9 years older than me. Mm-hmm. So this has been a big concern of mine for a bunch of years.
No doubt.
Like when they're ready to retire, say they retire at 60. Mm-hmm. Well, that's 11 years from now. So when they're 60, I'm going to be 51. Mm-hmm. And unless there's some crazy massive savings in the next 11 years, I'm probably not going to be ready to retire at 51. I'm sure it would be great, but I'm going to need something. I don't want to be a 51-year-old radio producer looking for my next big gig.
Right, because you're kind of in that undesirable range.
Exactly. Nobody wants to hire me.
And nobody's looking for a 50-plus white dude to produce another morning show.
So I've given a lot of thought over the last couple of years to like what my next move will be after that. And I was talking to my realtor friend the other day, and he's like, I really think that you should look into owning property and renovating houses and maybe renting them or selling them or flipping them or whatever you want to do. And I think that that's a real possibility for me.
To kind of build up the nest egg.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I start now, like say, this year, Annette and I bought a little hole in the wall that we could afford and got it fixed up and then rented it for a couple of years. And then maybe after a couple of years, the value's gone up. Then we sell it. Okay, we use that money to then reinvest and buy more stuff and more stuff. So maybe 11 years from now, when they're ready to retire, I have 3 or 4 rental properties.
Yeah, you can hang up the cans.
Right, exactly. So then my full-time job becomes managing these properties or reinvesting into other properties. Because I thought about it when I was renting my old house. I thought about it's as easy, if you want it to be, call up a property management company, sign a contract with them. They take 10% of whatever the rent is. Rent's $1,000 a month. They take $100. So that's what it was at the time.
What do they do for you?
They handle, if there's a leaky faucet, the tenants call them. They get somebody to fix it. I foot the bill for it.
Okay.
That's the only downside.
So they're the middleman for you in that.
Exactly. They handle all it. They handle the 2 a.m. phone call when the water heater goes. The problem is I foot the bill for it, which I'm totally fine with.
That's the part of being the manager, right?
But I don't have the option of like, oh, it's just a broken faucet. I'll go over there and put a new faucet in.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm basically a silent partner in my own property management.
It's probably preferable anyway. I mean,
I would say for the average person, yes. But for somebody like me, if it's something as easy as a leaky faucet, I just want to go to Home Depot, buy a $60 faucet, go over, spend a half hour, and install it, instead of having a plumber go out and buy a $150 faucet and then charge me
$80 an hour.
$80 an hour to install it.
I feel like you don't want to get in the homes, though, because, I mean, inevitably, because this is the way it always goes, you're going to have to evict those people.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, there's no question in my mind that you're the landlord. I think Annette would be the one to do it, who's chucking belongings onto the front.
Oh, yeah, she doesn't care.
And, you know, wailing children and et cetera, et cetera. And there's another backpack full of clothes onto the lawn, a recliner chair over the balcony.
Yeah, she's brutal.
Just
stone cold.
Just heartless, saying, you know, the kid crying, Mommy and Daddy should have paid. You know? I'll put that on the poll as well. Would Annette be the one to do the physical evicting of Steve's tenants?
Yeah. So I think that, I mean, I wasn't expecting to talk about this, but I think that that's what I will transition into after radio, sooner than later.
I mean, it's smart.
I mean, look, I'm riding this radio gig.
Oh yeah,
as long as I can.
Ride it till the wheels fall off. I mean, a lot of people. I'm not saying who. I'm just saying what the internet says. A lot of people say the wheels have already fallen off.
Yeah.
You know, and so we talked about it. The most apt comparison is just a foursome of monkeys. Flinging feces at each other across the room.
So is that you would have no desire to do the whole property management thing?
I'd love to be able to do it.
Yeah.
In the regard of they handle it, they hire the people.
Sure.
Because, I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum. I'm not a handyman of any kind. But there is a little bit of that.
And also no desire to be either.
No.
Because there are plenty of people.
I'm too old at this point to, like, start reading, you know, tutorials on how to, you know, note and fix plumbing errors.
Look, other than door tricks.
Other than Donnie Doors. Which I got to bust old Donnie Doors door tricks with an X out because we got a sticky door situation at the house. So.
Oh, boy.
That staff
I didn't know that we were teasing the A content for next week.
That staff member who got me that lovely gift.
Yeah.
Of door tricks by Donnie Doors.
Yeah.
Coming in handy.
So, yeah, because there are plenty of people that, like, I'm curious enough where if something's broken, I want to try to figure out how to fix it. You know, and I understand I'm kind of in the minority there because you're on the opposite end. If something breaks, call someone to fix it, and I totally get that. But then there are plenty of people that are kind of in the middle where they're like, well, it's broken. I have no idea how to fix it, but I'm going to try it anyway.
There is some truth to me saying I don't know that I'd want to know or get to know the people, and partially because
then there's that emotional.
There is. I mean, if I had to do what in some cases you may have to do, it's going to be more unpleasant than it already is.
Right. Yeah.
Like nobody's taking joy. You know, again, the overwhelming majority of the population not taking joy in the fact that they have to go physically remove people from the property you own. So
I'd be interested to know on the polls too. Are you a fix it yourself kind of person, or are you a
hire a handyman?
Yeah, call someone to fix it.
Yeah, I could put that up there as well. That's it's unique to have a plan already. Obviously, it's smart because you've had that thought process. I had that thought process. When I was working with you guys a little bit years ago, I was, part of, well, what if it turned into this? What if it turned into that?
Yeah.
Well, the age gap is something noticeable that...
It's something I never thought about. Like when I first moved here, because I've been here 12 years now, didn't think of it then because I was 28, 29 years old or something. It wasn't a thing. And then because I didn't know how long this was going to last, I was hoping that it was going to last for as long as it has. And hopefully... Radio? You never know. I could have moved here and absolutely hated it within 6 months, even though I knew I was confident that wasn't going to happen. It could have, and I could have been, just floating around and not really sure. But, I'd be interested to know if I'm in a unique spot where I'm 40 and I'm already thinking about like retirement because it took me so long to get to the point where I started saving. I feel like I'm really behind.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And you always see those stupid math problems like Johnny saved a nickel when he was 5, and now he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
And then there's like Ted, who saved $500,000 when he was 40, and he's somehow broke.
Let me look this up, because there's nothing that makes me feel worse about down the road retirement than that equation they tell you to follow in terms of how much you need saved by certain times.
Oh, I don't want to hear it.
How much should you have saved for retirement? Because you're like me, and I was thinking about it in my 20s. I did not have the ability to save for it. I wasn't making enough. I wasn't.
Yeah.
And granted, early 20s, it's furthest from your mind.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
Okay, so Steve, by age 30, and we're not talking numbers here. We're not getting specifics. So maybe a yes or no from you, because you're 40 now.
Yeah, late 30s.
Late 30s hit you hard.
Hit me hard.
By age 30, the equivalent of your annual salary should be saved. Now, you can just estimate, because
No, I don't even need to estimate.
Didn't happen.
Absolutely not.
By age 40, 3 times your income.
See, it's so weird with mine, because my technical salary is only a portion. Like,
Right.
I have the way that I get paid a few different ways. There's like salary, but then there's bonus, and then other stuff. I think I'm pretty close.
So you've been playing catch up. I mean, 'cause
Yeah, I've been playing
you laughed
major
off
catch-up.
30, right?
Major catch up.
So, boy, I shouldn't have left that page to see what they recommend for 50, because
I feel confident that whatever they recommend, I'm on the right track, because I feel like I've righted the ship. Granted, if I got fired today, I'd be in a world of hurt. But
so yeah, it is 1 time your income by 30, twice your income by 35, 3 times by 40. So I believe by 50 you should be at 6 times.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I'm sorry, 5 times. You should be at 5 times your yearly savings 10 years from now.
Right,
Your
but that's
yearly
gonna,
salary.
But that's going to be 5 times my yearly salary.
Then
Presumably,
presumably.
presumably it's going to go up. Hopefully,
I've started to take this much more seriously in the last couple of years, to the point where I logged into, and this is a neat little thing if people aren't aware, it's the Social Security website has records of every year how much you've made, because it has to track to make sure you've worked enough years to qualify for Social Security, which who knows if it's even going to be around when we retire, but you can look that up. So it's funny to see that first year you work, the second year, and like how many years it takes you to get to like 5 figures, how many years it takes you to get to this dollar amount.
Oh my God. So does it show, like, I remember I got my first job when I was, I think, 16.
Yeah.
So it'll show in 1997 how much money I made.
Yep. Yeah, I'll send you the link.
That's
for
amazing.
it.
It was probably, let's see, I was bussing tables for a couple months. Then I worked at Acme, bagging groceries.
That's right. With Jack.
I bet I didn't make more than, I don't know, $3,000, if that.
Yeah, I was going to try to quickly pull mine up, because that is what's neat to see, is that, mine was, I think, less than $3, $3,000.
Yeah.
My first year working in 2003.
Yeah.
Part-time in high school.
Yep.
16 years old.
Maybe working like 10 hours, 12 hours a week.
Bagging groceries.
Yeah.
And then started to stock shelves, where I got, a big like 40-cent raise to go work grocery instead of bagging.
Yep.
And it's so funny, because back then you're like, oh man, I'll be swimming in dough.
Oh, I just remember the worst part about it was when I got that job bagging groceries at Acme Markets, Local 1360. I had to join the union.
That's right. We looked up the pictures of Local 1360 after a big renovation.
Yeah, but I had to join the union, and I remember it was $200 for initiation dues. And when you're 16 years old,
that's gigantic.
They took $25 out of my first 8 paychecks. My first paychecks were like $40 to begin with. They take $25 out of it. I'm like, really? I'm working 12 hours and making $15?
Oh. I'm sure you made so much more though in those negotiations.
Oh yeah,
that you were definitely a part of. It's let me. Oh, I got the table up, Steve. How much I have made every year of my life. 2003. Part-time Kyle bagging groceries.
Oh, I thought you were saying $2,003.
Oh, no. Well, Steve,
that's what I've made total.
It's not that far off. $2,148.
So did you
I started in June of 2003.
Okay. All right. So
and
roughly,
half the year.
So yeah, if you had been working the whole year, roughly $4,000.
2004.
Oh, I bet you were rolling. Well, you're probably up at $4,500.
That's the year I bought the bra.
for the Cavalier, of course.
Of course. 5,743. I didn't know what to do with it.
You must have been sitting on a golden throne.
I mean, anything I wanted or anything anybody else I knew wanted. Sure. Throw in the debit.
Now
card.
back then, so 2000 what was
2003, 2004.
So 2004 you would have been what, 17?
Yes.
So did you have back then, was it all cash for you, or were you doing like a debit card or anything?
It was mostly all debit card even then.
Really?
But I remember that was before, direct deposit became the thing and the norm, right? So I remember, there were some times Thursday I'd, have my checking account check in. It was like $5.08. And I'd be like, hey, I was going to go get something to eat. Like, that's my limit, you know? So I was Friday morning knocking on the door of payroll to pick up my physical check I could go to the bank.
Remember the excitement of that, though? I remember payday for us was Thursday.
Yeah.
I remember I'd be there like bagging groceries and you'd see everybody come in like, got my check, take their check, and then they off to the bank to cash it.
Unbelievable. It's such a time and place that
you'd be like, oh God, you get your check and it's like $200.
Yeah.
So I'd go to the bank and I'd be like, all right, can I deposit $150 of this and then keep $50?
Yeah.
So I could spend $4 on gas and the other $46 on nonsense.
I remember
just garbage.
I mean, it's not that far past. It's not that far out of my memory of the gas of needing gas and being at the pump and having $8 to my name and making sure I didn't go over $7.50 on my while I'm pumping. It's such.
I still remember the summer that I got my driver's license, which would have been 98. Gas was under $1.
Sure.
It was like 89 cents or whatever. And then there was this one gas station that would do like, 10-cent Tuesdays or whatever, where it was like 10 cents off. And I remember getting gas for 77 cents a gallon. It was insane.
That's unbelievable to think about now.
But ask your parents. They probably paid a quarter.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And it was the old pump that you like the numbers would tick, tick,
Cling, 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 cling.
Oh, a time and place, man. It's crazy to think back to that. It's not that far, and I try not. I mean, I'm not wealthy by any stretch of any imagination, right?
Although, I mean, this pandemic really paid off.
Has it been good? So sorry for
really paid off for you.
So sorry for all your luck, folks, with the losing home and jobs.
Refinance your house.
We refinance.
A couple new cars, right?
Down to one new car.
One new car.
Yeah, one new car. All the toys, man. Oh my God! I bought an arcade game 2 months ago. An arcade game.
Speaking of which, I have a note there. I need an update on.
Oh my God! We'll have to get to it. You know what? We'll have to get to it next week though, because I don't want to get too far removed. We were talking about the 5-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Of the Lost episode. Now, did you want to play?
Absolutely.
There's some varying length. We don't have to play the longer one. There's 5 minutes here and there.
Oh, there's a 3.5.
Yeah. Well, why don't you play a few of those? I think they are numbered even. So I don't know if I had
you fire off the numbers. I'll.
Well, I think what this was you and I, when we decided to re-air some of this a couple of years ago, we split the episode down the middle, and we each cut up some pieces from it. So this is only parts of one half of this episode. So I don't know if I had the first half or the second half. So why don't we just kick it off with the first?
All right. So do you just want me to start this? We'll turn off our mics, or do you want to comment on it as we go?
Why don't you leave it open? So if we need to stop it, because listen, shame is going to fill my body in seconds.
I have no idea what this is, but here is Lost episode Part 1. Again, this is recorded 5 years ago. Yesterday, while very intoxicated.
Very drunk.
1:51 a.m. is the ideal time to record a podcast.
This is where you sit down, where you really start thinking about things, Steve, and you decide it's time to get this stuff recorded on.
Oh my God!
You know,
I can
hear the slur. It's so noticeable.
Well, I can clearly hear Katie and Annette talking in the background,
like normal, because it's not like we had some production room set up with.
We're in a bedroom.
Yeah, an open, a very airy bedroom with a hardwood floor.
Yeah, had a cat door cut into the bottom of
we
it.
probably didn't even shut the door the way it sounds.
Sure doesn't sound like. All right, let's go back to this though.
On some software.
Wait. Who was that? Who was that talking into mic number 2?
Wait a minute. Is that the old myth?
Oh, it's Kyle. Hey, Kyle. How are you,
me.
man?
Hey, Steve. It's weird.
Don't care.
So
I go away for a little bit, and I'm assuming.
Where have you been? What happened in the last 2.5 months?
We thought this was good.
Well,
you made a Facebook
I don't know if we
post
thought it was good, but we didn't think it was bad.
Yeah, we didn't know. The only defense I'll make for this, we didn't know what was good. Really, I mean, I know this wasn't it.
Yeah,
I can safely say that this was not anything good. I'm more than happy to admit that.
All right.
Just trying to throw some cases with my soda company and get through the day to day. You know how that goes, right? It's weird. The internet and myself assumes that you don't hear me for a while and I'm just dead.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. You actually died back in what was it, March?
Right.
Or April?
It was late March, early April.
So
had a weird out of body experience.
Here's what's gone on in the last year or so. I remember I actually had, first of all, you for bailing on this whole thing, right? Because
Man,
I remember that now because I had forgotten about the circumstances of our podcast that we were going to start.
I'm assuming that's what we're getting into here.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it was April or May. Hold on.
This isn't the first time, Steve. I think it can be said safe.
The first time.
Jesus. What did I have? 3 tongues?
Just go to rehab now.
1:15 in the morning, we had said. Just very, very drunk.
Let's hear that again.
I think it was April or May. Hold on.
This isn't the first time, Steve. I think it can be said safe.
I think it can be.
That's one word. I think it can be said was just made to be one word.
Can be gay.
Bleep that.
Yeah.
We have talked about recording a podcast.
I'm going into the file on my computer called podcast right now. I you not. I had.
Man, we were fast and loose with the swears.
A few cocktails inside soda pops.
A screenshot of a Facebook conversation from May 15th, 2015 at 3:25 p.m. Steven says, thinking about doing a podcast. Wanted to grab a quick drink and see if you were interested in brainstorming some ideas.
Sure.
Well, 3:25 p.m. Kyle responds, "Yeah, man, I'd definitely be interested."
Yeah, which makes sense. That
hold on. The conversation's not over. 3:26 p.m. Steven says, "Cool." And let's see, 3:27 p.m. Just 1 minute.
This is riveting, by the way. Reading every single word. Okay, as you were 5 years ago, idiot me.
Later,
yeah.
Kyle says, any reasoning or house looking to add a branch?
What?
Don't know what that means.
You sure you just read that? Okay.
And then you followed up a second later with asterisk just. So I'm assuming you meant any reasoning or just.
Boy, yeah, this all really adds to the story. Please, more.
I hate us. I hate us.
Branch. I still don't.
Hold on. I'm seeing some spikes in the audio form.
We're about to bring the heat.
Here, let me back it up a few seconds so we can see.
You meant any reasoning or just looking to add a branch. I still don't know what that means.
Well, Steve, you're a tree. And so I'm curious as to if you're going to add a branch to your growing maple.
Oh, there we go. That was the big payoff.
I can't do this.
A minute later, I
hate it so much.
Been kicking around the idea for a while and wanted to do something on my own, 3:29 p.m.
Sure.
on, again, this is May 15th, 2015.
Yeah, say the date one more
Kyle,
time.
that's you, says, yeah, it can be a lot of fun because, I mean, you obviously are the...
There it is, the look back, the big 5-year anniversary of the conversation that should have remained internal, yet for some reason became external.
How long was that whole thing?
2 minutes and 55 seconds.
Could have been an eternity.
Could have been nothing. Could have been, yeah, we've been talking about this for a while. Yep.
I can't believe.
Hey, and let me tell you about 2 years and 14 days. Nope. 2 years and 15 days ago.
Hang on. Let me go back and double check.
Was last year a leap year? Could have been longer.
Just the worst. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that happened. Did you want to play any more?
No. Mm-mm. In fact,
That feels like torture.
Time to see how wrong everyone else is. It's poll recap time. Find the polls at Steve and Kyle on Twitter.
and Facebook.
Thank you, Melissa, for that lovely introduction.
I would have thanked anyone for anything at that moment. Good God.
Absolutely unbelievable that at any point during or after that, we thought,
Nailed it.
we got something on our hands here. Like, there's no question. We've got it.
Well, then we released actual episode number 1 to an unbelievable audience.
Yeah, a big number.
A lot of people downloaded that. And then once it was revealed that, hey, we're not going to reveal where the bodies are buried, everyone cut out after that.
Yeah, it was. They came for the juice. Wasn't there?
No,
was not there. Sorry, Steve. I'm scrolling back. I have to scroll back. I believe 2 weeks, right?
no.
I think I've got it. Is it surprising that Steve hasn't seen The Dark Knight?
I would imagine that is overwhelmingly no.
That is no, Steve. With 76% of the audience, they say no.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just so big.
Yeah, but I don't think that people are surprised that I didn't see it, just because we've talked many times about how I'm just not the movie guy that you are.
Sure. Boy, I'm having trouble locating these on Facebook right now. Their manager is just atrocious.
Yeah, it's not great.
Next up, does it count as being okay with onions if you only eat onion rings and haystack onions?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like, am I looking at are these 2 weeks ago?
I think so.
Do you remember this conversation?
I do. I remember onions, yeah, because that was when we were talking about diet.
71% of the audience said yes.
Okay.
So I guess I'm okay with onions.
Yeah, you're good.
What do the people of Fiji like to be called?
Fijians?
The options:
Or Fijites?
Fijians, Fijiites, Fijians.
Fijians. It's got to be Fijians.
50% of the audience, Steve, said Fijians. Tie, 25%, 25% between Fijians and Fijiites. I feel like Fijiites should have lost there.
So is
right?
that Fijiites?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, double I. Right
Yeah.
in the middle there. That's I'm sure that's how it's spelled. Are there tiny house snobs?
Absolutely.
Runaway. 95%
Oh
of the
boy, that might be
audience
one of our highest.
said yes. What a stupid thing to be a snob about.
Am I one of them? Was that a follow-up?
I'm struggling right now to remember the context of either of these. Of
Well,
any of these.
yeah, that would have been
2 weeks
after.
ago. This
That would have
might
been after Annette and I stayed. It was after Tiny House Weekend.
Yeah. Ugh, so stupid. Oh, this makes sense. Is building a tiny house the single dumbest idea Steve has ever had?
I don't think it's the dumbest. I still think
Really?
jet ski while living in an apartment was dumber.
We got a real horse race on our hands.
Do we?
51% of the audience said yes.
Oh, no.
But now that you mention it,
I think that was mentioned originally,
jet
too.
ski at
I
the
think
apartment.
jet ski at the apartment is by far worse. Like, at least I can live in the tiny house.
Jet ski at the apartment it's my favorite thing about you.
It took up a spot in the parking lot for most of the summer.
It's my favorite thing I know about you. That you had a jet ski while living in an apartment. How far away from like water?
Not far. 7-8 miles.
That's just so
But of course, since I was so poor, I found like the cheapest storage unit, which was like 20 miles the opposite direction. And then the boat launch that I used was like 20 miles back the other way. So just to go and pick the thing up and get to the boat launch, it was like an hour and a half.
Can you do me, and I don't know if anybody, if you even have any of this available to you, can you do me a favor and seek out maybe like a picture of you, long-haired Steve, next to your brand new jet ski in the parking lot of your apartment?
I don't think I have any.
Oh,
because that was before. That would have been before like cell phone cameras.
It would have been an actual photograph taken on a 35 millimeter camera.
I mean, I might.
Oh, I'd just love to see your beaming face because you're a young kid with a new toy.
Yeah,
right. I mean,
I was 25.
Yeah, so you're in your 20s. You bought something that the majority of not just 25-year-olds, the majority of the world doesn't have.
Right.
Like,
and the only reason I bought it is because a friend of mine had one.
And
he went to a boat show, even though he had no interest in it. And then I remember coming into work the next day. He was like, "Dude, bought a Wave Runner. You got to buy one." And I was like, "Yeah,
you know it.
I do." And like within 2 weeks, I had one.
It's just so unbelievable. What a whim. Oh. Are there any other octopi or cacti out there? We had egg thrown all over our face with this one as
nuclei.
People language shamed us. In all the comments. Yes, I know alumni, fungi, platypi, hippopotami, nuclei, foci,
sure,
radii, syllabi. I get it, Brian Krause. You have a better handle on the English language than we do. Thanks a lot. 73% of the audience, obviously, said yes. We a little bit of egg on our face there. What is the plural of couscous? Couscai or kai? That's up there with one of the dumbest.
If it's not kai.
65% of the audience said couscai.
Okay.
I don't know why you would make the back half
change
plural.
One of them.
I don't know why that came up. I'm glad we got to the bottom of it, though.
Yeah.
Is Fightin' Aliens a young man's game?
Fightin'.
Not
with an fighting. N. That's definitely a young man's game.
76% of the audience said yes, Steve. That was it for the polls.
That's it, huh?
2 weeks.
Oh, boy, that is something. You want to listen to more of the Lost episode?
Fine.
No, too bad. Closed them already. Not happening. Not doing it.
Oh boy,
this whole episode was a digression because we started talking about your hangover.
Why I'm hungover, so I guess
you want to wrap it up right now in the next 20 seconds or so.
I really like that loose thread, but no, I had too much to drink.
There you go, folks.
Boy, that one really got away from us, huh?
That is what happened, right? Because we started talking about that.
There's no question that.
Yeah, which led into 5 years ago after the first episode, we were probably hungover, and then
quite honestly, your opening line was, "You doing okay over there?"
And here we are, 46 minutes later. Oh, Robert is still with us. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for hanging in there.
The first time in many weeks we've kept my brother, unless he left out of boredom. That is.
Yeah.
For the first time in many weeks, we've
I don't know. We
talked to my brother.
We talked about finance. We talked about retirement.
Oh, like he's ever going to have either of those things?
Is Robert an idiot with money?
don't know if idiot's the accurate term. Dumb?
Oh, it's much better. Not nearly as offensive.
No, I don't know. I don't really keep a good handle on that side. I just assume he'll be able to retire when he's dead.
That's a shame, Robert. It's a shame.
Boy, hang on. I feel like I missed some polls last week.
I can put the brakes on this at any minute.
Yeah, please do. Apparently, some only went to Facebook.
What?
This whole thing's a mess.
Oh.
I was wondering why my whole thing is a disaster.
Time
here.
to see how wrong everyone else is. It's poll recap time. Find the polls at Steve and Kyle on Twitter.
And Facebook.
Yeah, I'm just looking here and...
All right, what do we got? I'm back in.
All right.
Boy.
Oh, boy.
Imagine if we lose Robert now.
Is having a floor in your car a, quote, modification?
Yes.
52% of the audience
Said yes?
said no.
Oh, man.
Is there a thin line between crackpot and conspiracy theory?
Yes.
73% of the audience said yes.
Mm-hmm.
We already recapped his Fighting Aliens, Young Man's Game. Somehow we just missed those two.
Okay.
Sorry, I apologize for stepping all over our outro, but it's very important to paint a complete picture.
It's back.
For our listeners.
All right, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. A couple of polls up on Facebook and Twitter this week. Yeah, Facebook and Twitter only. No Instagram polls.
Nope. It's a nightmare.
All right, we will talk to you next week. See you later. Keep saving your money, folks. Got to retire someday.
Serious episode. Oof.